Imagine you were paying a bill every single month for something that a man named Nikola Tesla already figured out how to give you for free. Not cheap, not subsidized, free. Pulled directly from the earth, transmitted without wires, and available to every human being on the planet simultaneously. He demonstrated it, he proved it, and the physics worked. Then, one family decided that free energy was the single greatest threat to their fortune that had ever existed. Within a decade, Tesla was broke, his laboratory was in ashes, and the system that replaced his vision had a meter on it, a meter that has been running ever since. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is a business history. The names are real, the documents are real, and the money is real. The American electrical grid was not built to serve you, it was built to bill you. To understand what was lost, you first have to understand what existed before the theft. In the 1880s, electricity was a wonder. Thomas Edison's Pearl Street station in Lower Manhattan, opened in 1882, served 59 customers via copper wires buried under the street. Edison's model was essentially a gas lamp company with better fuel. You paid for electricity the same way you paid for coal or kerosene. You burned it, it was measured, and you got billed. The meter was built into the concept from day one because Edison was a businessman with investors to satisfy. Across the Atlantic, Tesla was looking at the problem from a different angle. He wasn't thinking about how to sell electricity. He was thinking about what electricity actually was. Tesla developed alternating current, AC, the system that runs the modern world. Edison rejected it because he had built his business around direct current, DC. This war of currents ended with Tesla and George Westinghouse winning the contract to electrify the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. By the time they built the hydroelectric station at Niagara Falls, AC power had won. But Tesla was not finished. While everyone else celebrated transmitting electricity through wires, Tesla was working on making wires irrelevant. In 1899, in Colorado Springs, he built a laboratory with a massive magnifying transmitter. He generated bolts of artificial lightning heard from 20 miles away. Tesla's theory, which modern physics accepts as sound in principle, was that the Earth functions as a giant conductor. If you could excite it at the right resonant frequency, you could pull energy from it at any point on the planet with a simple receiver. This meant no power lines, no central stations, and no billing infrastructure. Tesla found a patron in J.P. Morgan, the most powerful financier in history. Morgan funded Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower project on Long Island with $150,000. However, Morgan assumed Tesla was building a wireless telegraph system to compete with Marconi. That was a business model Morgan understood. You control the infrastructure and collect the fee. When Morgan realized Tesla was actually building a system for free, wireless energy, the project died. The official story is that Morgan pulled funding because Marconi beat Tesla to the first transatlantic radio transmission. The fuller version is that J.P. Morgan organized General Electric. His banks financed power plants, which bought equipment from General Electric, which then sold metered power to consumers. It was a closed loop of extraction. Free electricity didn't just threaten one part of this chain. It destroyed the entire model. In a famous exchange, Morgan asked Tesla, "If the system works, where do I put the meter?" Tesla had no answer, because there was no meter. Without a return on investment, Morgan was out. Wardenclyffe was demolished for scrap in 1917, and Tesla died nearly penniless in 1943. While Tesla's dream collapsed, the American grid was constructed on the principles of consolidation and control. Between 1895 and 1920, independent companies were absorbed into utility holding companies. Figures like Samuel Insull, Edison's former secretary, built massive pyramids of holding companies that controlled power for 1 in 8 Americans. These structures were designed to be extractive, charging operating utilities for management and equipment, costs that were passed directly to consumers. The natural monopoly doctrine ensured these utilities had exclusive territories. You couldn't choose your provider. You paid the rate set by a commission often populated by former industry executives. Even after the 1929 crash led to the breakup of these massive pyramids via the Public Utility Holding Company Act of 1935, the result was simply an institutionalized version of the same thing. In exchange for regulation, utilities received legally protected territories and guaranteed profits. Decades later, research into Tesla's patents revealed that his wireless transmission concept was based on Earth resonance. In 1952, the Schumann resonance confirmed that the Earth and its ionosphere form a resonant cavity that can propagate electromagnetic waves, exactly what Tesla had intuited 50 years earlier. The decision to stop Wardenclyffe was financial, not scientific. The physics was never fully tested at scale because there was no revenue model. Today, the average American household pays roughly $1,500 a year for electricity. The residential market alone generates $195 billion annually. This money flows through an architecture designed in the 1880s and protected since the 1930s. The deregulation of the 1990s largely failed, as seen in the California energy crisis, where companies like Enron manipulated markets for profit. The control has not disappeared, it has just become more abstract. Today, the 3 largest institutional shareholders of virtually every major American utility are Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. This circularity of interest ensures the closed loop remains intact. Solar power and battery storage are the first real threats to this model. A homeowner with solar panels generates their own free energy. Consequently, the utility industry has fought back, lobbying to eliminate net metering and spending millions to defeat pro-solar ballot initiatives. When a new technology threatens a revenue model, the incumbent model fights back with every legal and political tool available. The meter J.P. Morgan put on electricity in the 1880s is still running. Free energy is not a scientific problem, it is an economic threat. And economic threats are not solved with physics, they're solved with lawyers, lobbyists, and the ruthless application of financial power. The lights are on, the meter is running, and the ghost of a different world, Tesla's world, is still waiting to be built.